Oh my god, I don't know how long that was. How long was it? An hour?
55 minutes.
Fuck. That was good though. It's just gonna be a long day. It's gonna be a long fucking day. I have super.
Are you glad you came at 10:45?
Yeah. And then we had like an hour-long discussion after that, which was good. It was, I actually really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. A heart?
Yeah. Yeah,
circle?
it's definitely.
So the circle is round. It has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend.
Oh, very nice.
It's what I learned in Girl Scouts.
The important stuff.
I mean, you also learn about capitalism by making a good product and selling it to people for pretty overpriced.
I could go for some Thin Mints, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not Girl Scouts cookies.
I know.
Although I think I've been looking up trying to look up like how to like make them yourself, but I never actually got around to doing it.
All right, and welcome back. We are still talking about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. We are. I mean, at sometimes we do actually talk about this episode and not other things that are on our mind. Now we're gonna try and attempt to focus our attention on episode 35, The Shape of This Country. Dara, what do you think? We talked about some stuff in this episode.
We should probably start talking about those stuff in this episode.
Yeah, let's get started with a synopsis, and then we'll kind of dig into that further. If we recall last episode, Sloth had barged right in, was in the process of doing what Sloth does best, which is dig tunnel, dig hole, go on.
Well, these idiots are in his way.
I
digging
know.
Tunnel.
There's all these annoying pests in his way, so clearly he has to take a quick
Actually,
break
to be
from
fair,
that.
I think the reason he's digging tunnel is not a good reason.
Oh no, it's bad actually.
It's bad.
And so he then has to, he's kind of trying to get rid of these guys, but obviously the people of Briggs are fighting back, so we are kind of in the midst of that conflict.
Yeah. I do wonder, I mean, this is kind of like an outside thought sort of, but like, okay, just because of like the way that Sloth looks, he probably, how was he created? Because it's like kind of like, it feels like I don't know, kind of feels like the people who were like more like human, like I'm wondering like how like Lust was created, like was that a human who then consumed a philosopher's stone and then like had to fight the whole body fighting thing, or is it kind of like the ones who like don't look human and like they're just like, 'cause like Envy's basically a monster.
Yeah, and Envy is a huge monster, and we also know that Envy is specifically this stone that was made out of the remnants of Xerxes. And we do not know, and Gluttony is a stone that was kind of a failed replication of the gate or the portal.
And then Wrath and Greed are
Greed are specifically humans. I think Lust and Sloth, I think they're very inhuman, so I don't think they were ever properly human, at least not in this iteration of the story.
Lust is very like inhuman.
No, she's not inhuman. I mean, do regular people have those kind of titties? Heyo.
I think some do.
Some do.
And not even like fake ones. I'm not even...
Yeah, that's true. But no, but I think, also the fact, I know that Lust was mentioned to have been around for a really long time. So we know that the ones that were part human, they kind of age normally. So I think
wasn't Greed also around for a long time?
Yeah, but we don't know if the old Greed was from a human or not. We know this iteration of Greed. We know like Greedling is and so there we can not assume, but I think there is an implication here, especially because Sloth is significantly larger than the average person.
Right,
Sloth is like what like 9 feet tall or something crazy like that.
Sure. He's so much taller than Ed.
Big. Yes. And so, but we don't know like from what their stone was made out of. I don't think that's ever revealed for Lust, and I don't think that's ever revealed for Sloth. Maybe it is. I cannot remember. If it is, it's not a big part of the story.
Anyway.
So what they're going to do, so Armstrong comes up with a plan.
Now you get to see the Briggs
Pentagon?
The Briggs way?
That's right. Come, Alchemist. Give me a hand.
Yes! Brother!
You too, Tin Man.
Hey, hold on! We can't just...
You were forced to help us under duress. How does that excuse work for you? Who's this?
He's an old friend of ours.
Ah, then he'll help too. Hurry! Don't spill it.
Implicated.
Look at here. Head for gate 8, sir.
They're helping. You're supposed to put the gun at them?
I love the dude just like, I'm just gonna point a gun at a child to deal with Sloth, because they have to get creative, because you cannot just shoot him and then die. You can't even set him on fire because it's really not working out well for them. So because Sloth is a tank, so it's really hard to take him down.
The plan really isn't to kill him; it's more just like to
incapacitate him.
Yeah.
So what they do is that and they recruit the Elric's Buccaneer, and they bring in Fallman too because the Elrics kind of implicate Fallman because they're like, yeah, we know him, and they're like, he's like, all right. Now you're in this as well. And they have this plan. What they basically do is that they kind of sequester.
And also a lot of metal, there's not like a nice theological sweater on, hot cocoa.
It's all golden metal.
Do it, Miles! Close it!
Sir!
You say sir?
Yeah.
That's sexist.
Yes!
Only I can call you sir. Hi!
He's like, well, I can't read.
Why does he have a weird tattoo thing?
Slot to a corner, and then they douse this liquid on him.
How?
Oh my god, I love it.
Move it! You little runt!
This scene. You're welcome?
Hey, one more!
We're out of ammo! Well, in that
Why didn't you bring ammo up?
He's just like, I'm just gonna. Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we used the.
I don't think that did anything.
Nice!
That fuel is specially blended for the cold. It'll vaporize almost instantly, and as it evaporates, it will sap his body heat.
Oh, nice.
This blizzard will help too. It'll freeze him right down to his brain.
Get wrecked, Sloth.
Oh.
And then they force him outside and into the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what happens is that the it's a special kind of fuel that's equipped for the cold weather. But basically what it does when it evaporates in the cold, it's also going to suck the body heat from him, and then it's basically freeze his entire body, so he's incapacitated, and it works.
Hooray!
Yeah, so Sloth is just like, damn, and is basically frozen stiff.
I'm gonna take a nap now.
And basically just takes a nap in the snow. And Armstrong is like, all right, peace out, see you in spring. So as far as they know for now, they are, we don't have to deal with Sloth in the moment, at least not in the immediate future.
Yeah.
All right. And then from there, even though the Elrics were brought in to help, now that kind of the conflict is over, or this issue is temporarily resolved, they're back to being suspect number one here about what's going on.
Hey, hold on a second! We helped you! Why are you doing this?
You were forced to. That was just the excuse you needed to fight, right?
It's not our fault you pointed us.
Besides which, I'm not letting you go anywhere until you explain exactly what that thing was and what it wanted.
She had that point. But, like, also...
Can we not just say that somebody higher up than you told us not to say anything?
No.
It's so cold.
That's the best way to sleep.
Restraints.
Good morning. Nice change.
I've just been here watching you sleep.
Did you sleep well?
So then they are brought back into custody, and we flash the next morning, Ed wakes up, and both he and Al they're in shackles, so like their hands are of course separated, which is important for them because they cannot transmute if they can't touch their hands. And then and
Al was just like, hey buddy.
Yeah. Al the entire time just reading a book, he's like, yeah, unfortunate.
God, he gets so much done if you couldn't sleep.
Yeah. Poor Al. He just wants to sleep.
No, he wants apple pie.
He wants apple pie. He does.
Which, like, it's gonna take another year.
Apple pie and a map. Yeah, it's gonna be a while until we get that for you, Al. But
maybe we could just like put it in a feeding tube.
Maybe. I'm not sure if they have the technology. You just blend up the pie, just stick it in the NG tube.
Well, they make like apple pie milkshakes now, don't they?
That's true. We have some bigger problems before we get there.
That's true.
But while they are behind bars, even though they're kind of suspect number one in this case. The people who work at Briggs are still very respectful of them. A lot of the guys actually come up and they're like, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, you protected this person, you helped this person out, you helped us. Like, that means a lot to us. Like, we stick together. And Ed even comments on kind of the relationship between them is that they are all, like, you know, really battle-forged, like, companions. And
they're like brothers.
They're awake. Thanks for yesterday.
Yeah, you saved our buddies' lives.
Oh.
We're gonna keep you in this cage, though.
You guys stick together. You really seem to care.
Well, here at Briggs, we have to look out for each other.
You saved our pals back there, so that makes you our pal as well.
Well, you want to let your pal out of here then?
No, we're not allowed to do that. Sorry.
That's fair.
It was worth a try, I guess.
Yeah.
Apparently, they didn't find any sign of Scar's body at the site. He could always be holed up somewhere nearby, though.
That's true.
Yeah, they're a band of brothers, but they do all respect each other and have like a really close relationship, and they are actually very appreciative of the, you know, everything that the Elrics have done for them.
So can you let us out?
No, sorry about that. And so they're like, no, but they still, because kind of partially even because of that, they will not go against orders. And there's also a really funny scene. I forgot to mention this last episode, but the folks who work in the infirmary. This happens last episode. In this episode, they are being like, you know, hospital, and they give Ed like a cup of coffee, and every time they do, they're like, all right, that'll be 100 cents, please. So even though they're seemingly nice, like they're still like someone's got to give. So like they're charging for like the cheap, terrible coffee. And that happens again in this scene. I think it's kind of funny. So from there, we're actually going to go over.
I wonder if there's. Do they actually charge, or they're doing it to Ed because they know he's a state alchemist and that's a lot of money?
I think he gave him the money last time. I mean, that's true. Like, you know, they know that he makes a good salary, so might as well be like, pay up, buddy. So you know what? I appreciate the hustle. Anyway, from there, we kind of transition over to where Kimberly is, because now we have word that Kimberly's up north.
All right. You can leave Scar to us and focus on getting better.
I don't think that's how that works for him.
I want you and your people to stay out of this. The Ishvalan is mine to hunt down.
I hate to tell you this, but the soldiers of Briggs won't let a serial killer roam around free. Here in the north, the law is survival of the fittest. You get careless and you get dead. Understand? You tell me what to do again and you'll never leave this hospital. This case is ours now. The Briggs branch will take care of everything.
Bye!
You behave yourself.
You fucker.
How's it going, Kimberly?
Hooray!
Good stuff. And I forget which scene it is, but I think it's brought up to General Armstrong as well. Like, hey, Kimberly's around here. And, you know, even though he, like, did a bunch of weird crimes against the military, he's been released by the Fuhrer's order, and he's here, he's looking for Scar. So that's fine. So Major Miles is the one that goes and visits Kimberly in the hospital, because as we recall, last time Kimberly was around, he did get stabbed. He was, like, significantly injured. I think Kimberly even mentions in that scene in which he's injured that he's like, oh, I can feel the life fading from me. That's probably not good.
Wasn't he, like, impaled?
He was impaled.
Okay. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it was impaled. It wasn't great. He's in pretty bad shape. He's bedridden in the hospital, and Miles goes down to talk to him, and he's like, hey, you sit there, rest up. We'll take care of the Scar business, because we can't have this guy on the loose here. And Kimberly's like, nah, he's mine. Step out of it.
And then Miles gets a pillow and puts it over his face.
We would have liked that, but no, that's not the case. But Miles does kind of make a threat here. Well, Kimberly says that, you know, like the Ishvalan is his, and Miles basically has like vaguely threatens him. He takes his glasses off, so he's fully revealing to Kimberly. He's like, all right, watch what you say about the Ishvalans. And also, we know that Kimberly was responsible for a lot of the Ishvalan casualties in the war.
What?
Right? Kimberly was very good at killing people. Incredibly good at killing people.
Was that why he was in jail?
That's kind of why he was at jail. It was because he killed too many people. Because some of them were in the
if we're being
military.
honest, they only put him in jail because, like, I feel
all
like
the people he killed.
Oh, I was thinking because like the Fuhrer didn't want to put him in jail, but like if he didn't, then that probably would have caused like a military coup.
Yeah.
Because we're being honest here. Let's be honest.
Because there were witnesses. There's no witnesses to why Kimberly killed those military officials, but there were witnesses to him killing the military officials. So like you can't get away with that. If somebody sees you, they're like, hey, we can't brush that one under the rug. You will have to suffer the consequences for that, even though he was later released from prison. So Miles is basically like, hey,
listen, you're stuck here, and nobody from like Central is gonna come up and heal you.
Yeah, you're in Briggs territory, so don't say shit like that, or you might never get out of the hospital. Just letting you know.
I hope, and you know, definitely nobody's coming up here to help you, like heal you to get out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Hey, what happens next, Cailin?
How are you recovering?
Oh, fuck Raven.
General Raven.
You don't like him.
Got here quickly.
Oh, it's
I heard the news and came as fast as I could.
He was like the high leadership that was like in that weird.
Yeah.
That's what you're really worried about. Isn't that right?
Ah, fuck.
Very good. Now we have work to do.
I'm not exactly in great shape at the moment.
Can you use the Philosopher's Stone to heal yourself?
No problem.
Hello?
I brought a doctor who knows alchemy, and we have the stones as well. You'll be fine in no time.
Remember?
Kind of.
Yeah. So Miles leaves and which is a very cool like show of just like a very fun FU moment. But unfortunately the high that we feel doesn't last very long. Because as Kimberly is like, you know, sitting there with his own thoughts, General Raven walks in. And we know General Raven because he was kind of in that group of those really high-ranking military officials who are working with the Fuhrer and are kind of all aware of a lot of the situation involving Philosopher's Stones and the plot for the country. Yes.
None of the generals are homunculi, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Unless. No.
Okay. I think you said that to me before, but I forgot.
Yeah. Well, I think I've said that none of the state alchemists are homunculi because.
But I think it was some the generals weren't either.
Yeah, no one in that room that we saw.
Yeah.
Because what their deal is that they are, I think they are very swayed at the idea of becoming immortal. So they like the idea of immortality or having immortal forces, because that can spell out so many good things for them. Apparently, I don't believe it, but so that's their goal is immortality. So inherently, they are not homunculi currently.
Listen, they are here, born to be kings.
Yeah,
they are princes of the universe.
What's that? What are you referencing?
Highlander?
Oh my god. You always make Highlander reference. I'm always like, huh? What?
I thought you saw Highlander.
I don't think I actually have, but I know the song. Who Wants to Live Forever?
Well, and Prince of the Universe also.
Oh yeah.
I think they're making a remake of that, which like I'm kind of I don't know if it'll be good.
Maybe.
Well, like the people behind it is like I think they're trying to get Henry Cavill to be Connor McLeod, which is like great casting.
Oh.
That's good casting. And then I think the guy who's directing it is the guy who did all the John Wick movies.
Okay.
Which makes me think, because like unlike the Crow remake, which was not good because they took it too seriously and you're not supposed to, like I feel like that director understands that like you don't need to take stuff too seriously.
Yeah.
So like if that's, and so Highlander's similar, like it's not that, and maybe they'll actually get an Egyptian to play an Egyptian pretending to be a Spaniard.
Oh, nice.
Remember that?
There's a lot of like, yeah. Good times.
Because that was Sean Connery. It's like he's not a Spaniard or Egyptian.
Yeah. Yup. Oh my god. Good times. The
80s are fun.
Anyway, Fullmetal Alchemist. So General Raven walks in, and we know that he is no good. He's a guy that seems like he can be trusted, but we know who he's really in cahoots with. And so him coming in, we only know that's going to benefit Kimberly. And they kind of talk, and Kimberly also shows that he still has 2 Philosopher's Stones. So it's not just the updated one that Envy gave him, but the original one that he had before that he's been holding on to in his stomach the entire time, like some sick freak. And so they're having that conversation, and Kimberly's like, I'm not in great shape right now, I'm not gonna lie. And then Raven brings in a doctor who we've actually seen before, and the only
I believe you. I don't remember, but I believe
the
you.
way that we can recognize him. He has like a gold tooth and like a kind of a really creepy smile. And the one major time that we saw him before, actually no, we saw him twice. I think it was in the same episode. It was in the flashbacks with Wrath and how Wrath came to be Wrath. So that was the doctor who was involved in the program to inject people with the Philosopher's Stone to make Wrath. So we know that guy is like not good.
Also, like if they inject somebody with if you inject somebody with a Philosopher's Stone and then it kills them, you get that stone back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw that kind of in the episode where Wrath is created, where they inject in the
person
before Wrath, and then it kills them, and then kind of spills out from their wound. I think what we weren't sure of, or we kind of assumed, is that is that person's life then added to the Philosopher's Stone? I think we figured that it was.
I kind of assume it is.
Yeah, it's a free fuel. So like not good for us, because spoiler, I'm not a big fan of Kimberly. I think he's kind of a jerk.
Oh, you say jerk. I say war criminal.
Yeah, that too. And so we're going to spend some time actually with Mei Chang and Dr. Marco.
This dragon pulse business is especially confusing.
It's about the chi of the land.
What do you mean by the chi?
I'll try to explain. Basically, it's an energy that exists in all things in this world, like rivers of power flowing through it. Those rivers are far-reaching. They touch everybody and everything. All you have to do is understand how that power flows from where it enters and where it leaves. And then you can use it to affect just about anything.
Because they have found the notes left by Scar's brother, and they're kind of talking a little bit more. We get a little bit more of the information regarding the backgrounds of alchemy and alchemy. So this is a really interesting concept. So there's this concept called the Dragon's Pulse, and Marco's not really sure what to make of it, but it's something that's actually really big in alchemy. It's basically like chi, so this idea that everything has energy, and you're basically just trying to find the lines that connect all the energy together to be able to tap into that energy and power. And that's how she is able to use that long range kind of attack, or that long range alchemy, where she's able to have something here and then find it there, because what she's doing is tapping in to the energy that is inherently surrounding everything to be able to find that connection between point A and point B.
And then she beats up an old man?
Just about anything, so the body too?
Yes! It could be your back!
My leg!
Or else your neck!
Stop hurting this old man!
Why did my eyeballs hurt when you pressed my neck?
Dr. Marco, you should take better care of yourself. No. All the power in your body is starting to stagnate.
I feel like somebody's going like...
That's it, is it? The theory behind your remote transmutation.
Then alchemists don't use the dragon's pulse?
They do not. They use energy from the movement of the Earth's crust. A great deal of energy is created, then released during earthquakes and volcanic eruptions.
And then she beats up an old man, trying to demonstrate how things are connected. So she just like starts...
It was kind of like the chakra thing that people...
Kind of like pressure points. Yeah.
Or like, May? From Avatar? The Last Airbender?
Oh, Ty Lee.
Yeah, when she did like the thingy.
Yeah, exactly. So
that was fun. No, May was the Zuko's girlfriend.
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah. But we have a May here, and she's using the pressure points to kind of demonstrate on Dr. Marco, which is very funny because she is damaging him in the process, and it's kind of funny to watch.
He already got his face.
His face is
off.
Yeah, his face is off. That's interesting in and of itself, because Marco, I think after that happened to him, accepts the pain that causes him because of the things that he has done. Really anything that
also
Dr. Marco...
war crimes.
Yeah, also anything that Dr. Marco has done post the war and post those war crimes has been to atone for that. So moving to a town, using his research to help people, medically, basically begging Scar to kill him for the things that he's done, and being willing to help that as well. He really just wants to kind of atone for what he has done. So he's a very interesting character as well, I'll say. We also get to know a little bit more about where alchemy derives its power. So while alchemy derives its power from the dragon's pulse or the chi connecting everything, alchemy is used, or what Dr. Margot claims it's used, is the power generated from the tectonic shifts in the Earth's crust. Mm-hmm. So we get it more from the surface of the Earth or the Earth's like kind of main outermost layer. And when that moves around, it releases energy, and alchemists tap into that to use that.
That's what fuels our alchemy in this country.
That's interesting.
I don't know. That doesn't seem right. I felt that something was out of place ever since I got here. I noticed it especially when we were under Central. I can tell that there's energy flowing under my feet. But it doesn't feel like it comes from the land's movement.
From a sloth?
It feels like a crowd of people squirming around.
Okay.
What?
Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist.
He's like, I'm done with this. I'm reading my book. But May does not believe that because of how, like, her connection to things, and using that kind of chi of everything to feel where things are coming from. It doesn't actually feel like alchemy is related to that at all. It doesn't actually feel like it's coming from the surface of the earth. It's more like it's coming from the people crawling beneath the ground. So interesting. Is this related to why Father was able to turn alchemy off but not alchemy? Who knows? Anyway,
but like it kind of feels like it's kind of like within what is Father, because like it feels like he would know about alchemy as well.
What a good question, Dara.
I still don't have an answer.
It's, I mean,
because that's the thing of like if he was like kind of like this like sort of like this like godlike thing, because like usually when you say Father, you think like a godlike thing. Mm-hmm. You would think that he would know everything, but and it also kind of makes it interesting of just like if maybe. It kind of makes me feel kind of like example like think of like the Marvel is like everything comes from the same place, but people interpret it different way. Like some people interpret like the Infinity Stones, like some people interpret it as like magic, and some people interpret it as like a science thing, or like aliens, but like really it's all aliens.
Right. No, and that's kind of.
Well, I think there's some stuff in the MCU that's like whatever, not going in that.
Yeah, but
like politics, we're not going to get into the MCU right now.
It's true. But that is kind of similar to alchemy and alchemy because they feel like they have the similar origins. As there's someone coming from a certain location, because I think in Jing it's the man from the west, and in Amestris it's the man from the east. So there's this idea that their studies are coming from similar places, but they're being utilized or taught differently, and I think that's learning about how that came to be, or like learning more about the origins that is actually might help us understand kind of our big bad better. Maybe, perhaps. I mean, I know, but Dara doesn't, and we won't get there today, so not until the new year. Anyway,
2025. What can go wrong?
Oh God, Jesus! I'm holding on for dear life, guys. So anyway, we're gonna go back to Fort Briggs. We're going to investigate where Sloth had come from. So they uncover the giant tunnel.
Awesome. This is a serious tunnel.
I still can't believe that an intruder was able to get this far through our defenses.
So has anyone else ever made it into the fort before?
No, not in all the time I've had command here. But once, nearly 20
That's all my
years ago,
references.
there was
Cold,
a strange
which is
incident
considered
where
a
the
decent
mountain
movie, and
guard
yours
was attacked
is
in the
Lion
middle
King
of winter.
1.5.
Apparently, a mysterious woman
Which I liked as a kid. I'm not
for a full month.
I survived for a whole month in the Briggs Mountains!
It was teacher.
The
teacher was here?
Yep.
You, dismount.
Do they know each other?
No.
Now then, we're safely away from.
Was there stepping on it,
underneath kind of the fort, and what they're going to do is that they are going to bring some horses into the tunnel and then really just start exploring.
Yeah.
So General Armstrong goes, and then she brings along the Elrics, Buccaneer, and Fallman. And then they're going to kind of go and really try to investigate what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then also another benefit to going this far deep is that now that they are kind of removed from the kind of military center of Fort Briggs, is now Armstrong can be like, hey, no one's listening.
Tell
me what the hell is going on here.
And then cut, and then, okay, I understand.
And yep. And so then I think the Elrics finally acquiesce.
The Philosopher's Stone. Homunculi. Führer King Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how we like to think of a cut, because like, we already know everything.
Corruption in the senior staff.
There are hostages involved as well.
Your childhood friend, the automail engineer, and all Mustang's men.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some joint training with Eastern Command over the years, so I know Officers Hawkeye and Havoc. And I'd hate it if we lost either of them. I would like to help them.
And, what about Colonel Mustang?
Yeah. I couldn't care less about him. I'd just as soon see him fall from power. That would eliminate another rival.
They're able to kind of share everything because they're not in a position to not do anything else. Like they're definitely afraid of the consequences of the wrong people finding out. I think that they are now battle forged enough, or they have a level of understanding of Armstrong enough to know that, like, okay, she's probably not in cahoots with these guys. Let's kind of share the information, including everything they know about the homunculi, the fear, all that stuff. And so, that's a lot.
And she's kind of like, okay. And then kind of wants to help.
Yeah, so, I mean, she's definitely interested in that. So, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I get the information correct here.
The fear of the homunculus.
The fear of the homunculus, yes. So kind of through this discussion, I'm really just trying to figure out what the deal with everything is, or what this giant tunnel is doing here as well. They actually take out a map of the country.
First of all, the tunnel probably didn't originate in Drachma. This is just my guess, but I'd say chances are we'll find it's dug in the shape of an enormous circle.
Why?
Yeah.
It has to do with alchemy. In our field, a circle is the symbol used to control power. We need to look at this more closely.
Oh, I thought it would be an oval, because it's like an eye.
Lieutenant Fallman, can you list the major events in Amestris that were accompanied by bloodshed?
They start Ed kind of gets like a light bulb moment, and then asks Fallman to recount some of the major incidents in Amestrian history that led to massive bloodshed. This is in the wiki, shout out wiki writers.
And then you said, what, Fallman?
Fallman, yes.
Has basically like a sort of like encyclopedic and
he has like photographic memory and very encyclopedic knowledge. So he's isn't like outwardly addressed, I think, in the show itself, but I think
so he's like basically aware of everything.
So he's a really good guy to like call on to be like, hey, what's going on here? And so he's able to like recount everything from.
First, there's July 1588 in Rivier.
Okay, Rivier. Next.
October 1661, the Cameron Uprising.
I don't think it's outwardly stated,
February
but Fallman has like a
the Soapman incident.
Photographic, like encyclopedic.
There in
memory.
Fisk.
Nice.
March 1811, the Wellesley incident. October 1835, the First Southern Border War.
It's gotta be a shape.
What is now known as South City. Then in 1911, there was the Second Southern Border War in Photoset.
What about Pendleton in the West?
There's been fighting with Kreda. A lot of soldiers have died. And then, later in 1914, there was the Lior insurrection. There were many casualties.
What?
An insurrection?
I believe the first one is in Riviere in 1558.
Well, I think Ed first circles Ishval, right?
Oh, yes. First, he's like, he understands that Ishval is related to this scheme, so he's like, okay, we got this. And then goes from there. So this is, and everything here dates back to really close to the origin of the country, or like very early on. This first incident happens like 400 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, so Fallman then kind of goes through all of these things that really like all across the country. And then afterwards, they kind of then connect all the dots. Well, then they end with the most recent one being Lior. And the Elrics did not know what happened in Lior after they left.
Why?
I don't understand. I exposed the fake priest in Lior, and I reported it to Eastern Command immediately.
Yes, you did. But the Central Forces came in and ran out the troops from the east.
Yeah.
After that happened, Lior just fell to pieces.
Oh, no.
No time for that.
Oh, no. What about the sexy girl? Remember the one we were brooding about?
Yeah.
Mainly in the original?
In the first season.
We just connect the
Remember
dots.
we took our shirt off in the original? We're like, look! I don't have an arm!
How is that possible? It looks like the transmutation circle.
That's because it is!
Oh my goodness!
Is that so? The Philosopher's Stone array that draws power from human lives.
Their impression was...
Yeah, we just like took down a bad guy, it was good, right? And then the East came in, it was fine!
Yeah, so Ed is like, okay, well, they had that weird false prophet guy. I took that down. It seemed like they were they were a little unsteady, but they weren't in an, it wasn't an uprising. He's like, and then I reported to Eastern Command, so then they could take care of it. And then that's when Fallman kind of reveals to them, this is something that we already knew, but the Elric brothers did not know yet, was that after the East came in, then Central came in and said, get out of here. And then
we're gonna handle it. Everything's gonna be fine. Nobody's gonna get hurt.
And then no one's gonna get hurt. And then from there, it sparked tensions until an insurrection happened, and there has been a lot of bloodshed since. Honestly, the Elrics are not feeling great about that because they knew about.
Remember the hot girl I was brooding with
in the first series? We don't get as much time with Rose in Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, but she's definitely a
she was like
player.
there though, and I think there was like a little bit like it kind of like felt like are we setting up something here?
Yeah. It's interesting too because I think I don't want to spoil too much for the original series, but like they play with that way more in the original series, not just in those episodes, but like. Later on.
I feel like in that series, in like the only 2 episodes that we saw, it kind of felt like Ed was kind of a bit more like cocky.
Yeah,
and this like he's not as cocky.
Mm-hmm.
I just found it funny. I still find it hilarious, like in that episode.
Yeah,
and in the pilot for the original, like he just like rips off his shirt and he's like, "Is this what you want?"
And then we're like,
"Oh my god, he's an amputee." He's a double amputee.
He's a double amputee.
The Fullmetal Alchemist. And by that point, we'd already seen 3 episodes. I'm like, I know.
Yeah, we knew at this point, but yeah, it has definitely, that scene has a lot more weight in the original than it does in here, just because of the framing and the order in which they tell events. I just choked on my own spit of phlegm.
You okay?
Oh no, never. I'm good.
Did something else come up from the beginning of the show?
Anyway, so we kind of reveal then at this point we get to see that, oh look, this is a giant transmutation circle. Interesting, throughout the entire country.
So it's like so I'm trying to remember. It's a circle,
yeah,
and then in that is a pentagon.
Correct.
Okay. So it is technically, so it's like a pentaurcle.
Sure. Well, and so
did I do that?
So I think like part of the and they also like mention as well that when Ameshtus was founded, it was a much smaller country, and a lot of these conflicts are not just uprisings with dissatisfied citizens. It is border conflicts with the surrounding countries. So there's like a very imperialist element here in which that Ameshtus was deliberately expanded to gain land annexed from other countries, then to create that circle shape. So Ameshtus was not that full circle shape. They've gained that through bloodshed, and then through there had other kind of uprisings throughout that have made those other points in the transmutation circle. So it's kind of important to know that, it wasn't a perfect circle to start with. Like that was deliberately built through,
So we mainly did that to get land.
Yeah.
For said circle.
Create, yeah.
And then were like the smaller places to get dead bodies?
I don't think it's like...
Or is it like a thing now, just like maybe like we need, like obviously for the extermination part, we use bodies to make philosopher's stones.
Yeah.
But it kind of feels like most of those conflicts was like, let's get the land first.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the killing of the people.
I think it's like land first, I think then destabilization, and then bonus is philosopher's stones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So again, there's a major element here.
I know the main end goal. I understand the main end goal,
Yeah.
which is transmutation circle.
Yes.
To like open that up.
And we don't know exactly why yet.
We don't know exactly why yet, but like it kind of so philosopher's stones are just kind of like bonus fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's this idea, and like this gets a little mentioned later, and it's got mentioned before, where Tim Marco even asks Envy, it's like, oh, this is a transmutation. Like Marco figured out that they were making a transmutation circle, and Marco said, oh, you're doing this to make a giant philosopher's stone, and Envy's like, close but no cigar.
Right.
And so we know that the making of philosopher's stone, I think that is part of something, but it's not the complete something. So I don't think there's a part of the puzzle that we don't.
Well, can we make more homunculus besides the 7 deadly sins?
That's a good question.
Anyway,
that's actually, I don't have a good answer for that one.
Okay.
And so they are able to, so that when they see this, and this is also when the Elrics make the connection, and this is something that was kind of revealed to us earlier, that was very heavily implied, especially in that one episode where that kind of takes place inside of Hohenheim, that when we kind of put the pieces together, that Maze Hughes figured this out a long time ago. Sorry.
Do you think General Hughes?
Yeah, before he was killed, he must have seen the transmutation circle.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was serving in the court-martial office. He had all the information about the military incidents. He would have known that something wasn't right.
He
That
figured
must
out.
be why he...
You've sworn your life to the state as a dog of the military. But
That guy.
do you really know the ones you serve or what their true
Oh,
plans
from the
are?
pilot?
Yeah.
The arrogance to assume you're the one who's in control of it.
Don't be a fool! He'll lead us all to ruin. I'm only doing what needs to be done.
I do not like this.
Oh my god, the pilot
As
matters?
far as I can tell, there's only one place.
That was all of the pilot that mattered.
If
Like
you're
Thor
right
the Dark
about your
World?
theory, the next place they're going to hit is right here in Briggs.
This was the thing that Maze Hughes
And
figured out.
remember, he's dead.
He's dead. And so the Elrics realized that, oh, like they knew that he was killed for reasons. They didn't know the exact explicit reason of like what it was that he had learned. And they realized that because Hughes worked in the court-martial office, he had access to all this information, especially about those conflicts, and was able to kind of, he had the pieces closer in front of him and he was able to put them together and figure that out. And that is what led to kind of his assassination.
Well, remember, it's actually a good thing that he is dead now, because if he ended up telling Mustang, we'd have many less episodes.
Yeah. And where's the fun in that? Huh? Where's the fun in that?
Where's the trauma in that? We would have been done with this like 20 episodes ago.
Yep. Yep. So there's a lot of discussion here that happens. I feel like I am brushing over some of it, but that kind of the major aspect. Yeah.
Oh, what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna say the major aspect was kind of figuring out that there's a goal here, especially part of this like tunnel thing that seems like it's just making its way across or around the country, I should say. And also they're missing one point on that circle. They're missing kind of one major point in the, that configuration, and that point ends up being in Briggs. So like Armstrong's like, oh no you didn't. Don't come after me or my people. So that's kind of also something they have to not look forward to, but now they have kind of advanced notice that like the next place
is there,
because like last one was Lior, and they didn't realize that was what that was being used for, and now they have the advanced notice of they're probably gonna be looking at this region next. So
the Briggs has got a cold hard bitch taking care of things.
The Ice Queen, we love her.
I was gonna say that this episode also brings up something from the pilot, and we remember I don't like the pilot because I felt irrelevant.
Yes,
but it's like Thor: The Dark World, where like a little snippet of it is relevant.
It's completely and totally relevant. Yes.
What was that part again?
Well
the guy who did the fight, it was like
Isaac McDougal.
That
McDougal. Yes, that's him.
Who was like a part of the extermination stuff.
Yeah.
And then was like, this is bad, and then was like killing army people, and like said something to Ed about this is bad. I don't remember.
Basically like, hey man, this is bigger than don't trust the military. There's some weird stuff going on. I also, one of the reasons why, and I can actually talk about this now, I'm very excited. One of the reasons why I don't like the pilot is because like the thing that Isaac does, and I mean, I guess now it's actually clever that they're bringing this back up, but one of the things that he does is try to turn, like, you remember how he was like setting up different things around the city?
Yeah.
And then that was to make a giant transmutation circle around Central City. That was his goal, to like do whatever he was trying to do, was trying to make a transmutation circle around Central City. And I actually didn't like that when I first watched it, because at this point the manga was like just about finished. Actually, it wasn't quite finished when Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood aired, but it was like real close to being done. But it was after this plot line had been revealed that like, they're making the country into a transmutation circle. So I thought they were like giving up. Like, I thought they were like hinting too obviously at the twist of like what they were doing in that first episode, and that's actually one of the reasons why I don't like it. And the fact that that hasn't actually come up much since we watched that episode, so I guess it's not a big deal. But I thought they were giving up the ghost like way too soon with that.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, so when did that come up in the manga?
What, that this is the transportation, that the country's
No,
transportation
the stuff with McDougalfuck or whatever.
It's anime original. Like that, like he's not a character, he does not exist, and his plotline does not exist in the manga. So that's like the pilot, because the reason the pilot feels irrelevant is because it was specifically that's an anime original story,
right? Because I guess like they wanted to bring audiences like in,
yeah,
but they didn't want to like.
They didn't want to just remake the first few episodes from the original Fullmetal Alchemist, like shot for shot, because that's really because the original episodes.
It kind of feels like they wanted to like expand the first like few minutes of the first episode of the 2003, because that's basically like the second episode is basically just the first like 3 minutes of that whole thing, and then they combined like the episode 1, episode 2 into like into the third episode essentially. Yeah. And then I guess like because like I'm trying to remember, I think that the first episode is pretty much like action packed. I think it's kind of like here's like a fun thing.
I really think the Fullmetal Alchemist Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood pilot, is made for fans of Fullmetal Alchemist. Like I don't think that episode is made for people coming in for the first time. I think it's really made to be like understanding the audience of like there is a significant portion of this audience who has already seen one iteration of the show, so you already know all these characters. So I think it was just trying to find an alternate way to introduce all your favorite characters quickly, and also like sneakily introduce some plot points like early on to like tell the audience that like we're gonna do that one this time. Because I think Alchemy gets a mention either, I think it's in that one of those first couple episodes, it's either in the first episode or later, where like someone just offhandedly says Xingyi's Alchemy, and I think that was for the audience or the fans of the manga to be like, we're doing it this time, to kind of get us excited. So it's not, the first episode isn't bad per se. It's more of like, as again, someone who like very much enjoys the manga and followed the manga and read it, is like, all right, this is not much fun.
It kind of feels like an episode you can skip for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you have to watch it because it introduces the character. If you've never watched, you can skip it if you have watched the original, or you read the manga. You can't skip it if you are just starting out with Brotherhood, because that is how we're getting introduced to a lot of the big players.
But I guess like now I'm thinking like, what's he doing a thing to create a transportation circle to destroy the city, therefore killing everybody in the military? Because maybe like he figured out everything, but didn't say anything.
I feel like that's implied here.
Yeah,
I feel like that kind
of feels like that's what he was doing to like kill, even though like he probably could have maybe like. I guess like he kind of like realized that like I kind of even like the innocent people need to die,
because Isaac McDougall also like goes to talk to Kimberly in that episode. Like Kimberly
gets
dead? Isaac McDougall?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Again, that was the only time we were ever going to see him, and then he got like literally popped up in that episode. I was like, I remember seeing in the trivia, and I was like, who? And then I realized it was because his hair looked different, so I didn't catch it. Anyway, so yeah, so definitely. Yeah, that they did pull that back to like it kind of imply that like, hey, we've been telling you this the entire time, which they have. So that's that. Yeah, that's that. And also here is where we get noticed. We talked a little bit about this last episode, but you know, this is kind of earlier on, I think, when they're kind of talking about the risks that they have in kind of revealing the information that they have. You know, obviously there's hostages such as like Winry. So you know, Armstrong mentions like, oh yeah, you're automail engineer and also Mustang's team, and Armstrong kind of compliments Hawkeye and Havoc, who like she's worked with previously. She said she's worked with the folks at the East before, and she was like, man, yeah, no, I would really hate to lose those guys, so you know, I guess we should make sure that they're okay. And so it's really funny because they're like, because then Fallman is like, what about Colonel Mustang?
And she's kind of like,
I don't care for him.
I thought it was like, I don't care about him. And so I kind of felt like she kind of just like she like had no thought towards him, which is funny because like we said last time, they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like they're both like, I don't know, like they kind of like, I don't know if like General Armstrong like wants to like change the world or anything. I kind of feel like she's like kind of like, okay, but like they're very big on like protecting their team. Yeah, and I think she either calls him a rival or a competitor. But she doesn't, one of the reasons why she doesn't really care about him is that, again, they have similar goals in the way that they, like, it's no secret that Mustang has his eyes on the prize of being Fuhrer one day.
That, like, I think that's something that's widely known. The thing that's not widely known about Mustang is how he intends to change the leadership after he gets to that position, because that is very sensitive information that, like, would get him a lot more enemies a lot more quickly.
But possibly court-martialed.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Armstrong, at least, you know, views him as a competitor because she's also, like, has her eyes on the prize. She doesn't actually say that she wants to be freer, but a lot of what she does, and a lot of part of her personality being very cutthroat, is, you know, about loyalty to the military and wanting to kind of rise through the ranks. Yeah. Which she's done a pretty good job of so far. And so she doesn't really, she's like, one less competitor is fine by me. So they're similar in the ways that they have a lot of ambition, and the ways that they believe in having, like, a really strong core team, and supporting everyone that way. But they're kind of different, probably in some of their end goals, or and also personality as well. Because Mustang is just like a very, we view Mustang as being one of the adults here, because Mustang is an adult in general, and also very much compared to our main characters, who are the Elric brothers, who are very young. Like, Mustang seems a lot older. Mustang actually isn't that old. So there's
I assumed he wasn't. I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, like, he's been through a lot. Yeah. I mean, which somebody calls, not gonna lie, but like, I was like maybe thinking he was like maybe like our age.
He's actually a couple years younger than us.
Okay.
Because I always thought he was in his 30s, and I looked up, he's actually in his 20s. But if it makes sense, if he joined the military, like, first thing, you know, like, even between, like, 18 and 20, and then, like, went through those years, that actually makes sense.
But remember, trauma can make you grow up, unfortunately.
It's true, yeah.
The fun stuff doesn't make you grow up.
Becoming a killer does damage to your psyche and body, probably.
You just need the love of a strong lady.
Don't worry, guys. Women can fix us.
Or a three-way, maybe. Right?
I don't know.
I'm kind of thinking maybe like him, General Armstrong, and Hawkeye in a nice like three-way. That might be hot.
I don't think. I think that's below Armstrong. She's like, you guys do your weird shit. I'm out of here.
I don't think she wants to. I'm just saying it'd be hot.
Yes.
You know, I'm right.
We should not. We should stop talking about this. So, but yeah, I forget where I was going. But like, in the differences between Armstrong and Mustang, I think Mustang, probably in the eyes of the other people around him, is probably like a young, wide-eyed idealist as well. Even though he's also very ambitious, and I think Armstrong is a little more mature, probably both in age and experiences. And she's also like a higher rank than him.
She's probably like in her 40s, I would say. And
probably late 30s, early 40s, I would guess. Yeah, and also that, which is kind of based on a conversation that happens later.
Not Mustang. Alex Armstrong then.
30s? He's younger. I assume he was in his 30s.
Yeah.
I just assume.
I mean, his voice is very deep, but like.
Yes, but you know, men. Am I right? But anyway.
I mean, also Mustang's voice is deep, but like his face is. How old is the 12-year-old?
How old is who?
What's his name?
Oh, Fury, Kane Fury. I actually don't know how old he is. He's probably younger. He looks 12. He's an adult though.
I know he's an adult.
But anyway, so we kind of have this conversation. We kind of understand what's going on, and towards the end of this, the Elrics ask Armstrong. They're like, "Hey, here's a favor."
Well, they find out that General Raven has.
Those bastards in Central. What kind of dirty plans do they have for my fort?
General, you're needed back at the fort. Lieutenant General Raven from Central is here to see you.
Damn it!
Raven.
It looks like our time's already up.
Excuse me, General Armstrong. I'd like to ask a favor of you.
Bold.
Do you think you could con some information out of General Raven?
Nice.
Yeah. Now we're all in
General
cahoots.
Raven, sir.
Buddy.
Hey, can you do us a favor and try to see what kind of information you can squeeze out of this guy?
And she's like, honey.
Bet. Like, oh, you don't even know.
I'm gonna show you the queen that I am.
Yes. It's very good.
It's great.
So General Raven gets there, and he's greeted by Major Miles. And why do you think that's funny?
No, because like it's unfortunately funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like,
I'm terribly sorry to have to ask you to wait.
No, please don't worry about it. It's my fault for dropping in like this.
General Armstrong should return at any moment.
Wasn't
this way.
They're sitting next to him.
As you can see, I've brought a guest with me. If it's not too much
Hello?
trouble, then perhaps you would be so kind as to show him around the fort.
Yikes.
Is he dead?
I'd appreciate it. Thanks, Major Miles.
There's something tricky afoot.
Somebody dead?
Winry's apple pie.
No.
Kimberly's also with him, and then you're just kind of like, no.
Yeah, because General Raven's there, but he also has Kimberly in tow, who, like, suspiciously was impaled hours earlier and is now not. Interesting. Now Miles is tasked with showing Kimberly around, and I feel like the shoe is kind of on the other foot now because
I am worried for his.
Yeah, because Miles did threaten Kimberly. I mean, like, rightfully so, but he did be like, "Hey, watch yourself." But it also was when Kimberly was, like, significantly injured, and also does not know that he's in the possession of two Philosopher's Stones. So call
him now and you can get them for the nice price of $19.99.
Just 4 installments of $19.99. But wait, there's more. Anyway, so
you can get some auto mail.
So good luck, Major Miles. Anyway,
we hardly knew ye.
So, and then from there, kind of we close this out with this conversation between General Raven and Major General Armstrong. And so they meet separately in a room. It's a private conversation, but we do get to see there is a wiretap, so they are getting to listen in on what's going on.
I found it disturbing. They seem to know about this monster, but they wouldn't talk. Obviously, if we have a state alchemist doubling as a spy for Drachma, that's a serious problem. I've locked them up. Perhaps you'd like to speak with them.
Certainly. They won't tell you anything?
Correct. They said they came here to research living transmutation or something. What could be more suspicious? I distrusted them instantly. I had thought about torturing them to get the information, but I am a woman after all. I thought of hurting those boys. Let's just say
I'm so innocent.
Now that's rich. She would have tortured you in a second.
But General Armstrong...
And they just kind of, Armstrong kind of shares what's been happening. Obviously, it's not giving the full details, but it's like, yeah, it's so weird. We had, like, a monster attack here. Maybe, like, a monster.
I think it was from this place.
And she's like, oh, yeah, I think it was from Drachma because it was so weird because, like, you could shoot it and it didn't die. It was very strange. And then...
she's like, the Alec brothers are here, but I don't trust them.
Yeah. And so she is giving him a lot of information in a way that's probably making him feel like that she trusts him.
Also playing on his, like, manhood, maybe his, like, I don't know, like, if there's some, like, innate sexism in him, but, like, playing on that a bit.
Yeah, because, well, when she's talking about the Elrics now, she doesn't trust them. She was like, I would have tortured the information out of them, but, like, they're really just boys, so I wouldn't do that. And it's very funny, in the other room, I think Buccaneer is like, oh, no, she totally would have. Because we know she would have.
Yeah, it's like listen, General, I'm just a girl.
Aren't you known as the Northern Wall of Briggs? Walls aren't so soft as that.
You know, General Raven, at my age, most women are expected to have had a child or two at least. Unfortunately, I'm well past that now.
Come now, surely men are lining up to have children with you.
Hardly, sir. I hate to say, but like everybody else, I'm growing older. And my body is too.
Oh, she's so smart.
That Drachman monster, though, it had an outstanding body.
It did. I'm stuck on that.
Body, like something from a dream.
Oh my god, I love how this is played because
I love
it. It's so good because I think I'm probably gonna derail the conversation here, but like
what?
I genuinely am so deeply in love with how women are written in this show, and I feel like it feels like such a detraction to like even bring up how women are written because it's just so good. Like women and womanhood in Fullmetal Alchemist is so freaking well done. I mean, hats off to Hiromu Arakawa, obviously who is a woman herself, but like just really nails, I think, the just not the complexity of women, because again, even saying that feels very much like a detraction, but just it's so good because the only reason why like I feel like womanhood is like brought up very specifically here is to deceive the men. I
right,
think that is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. She's trying to like try to like present that she is weaker than him, when in reality she could probably like snap his neck.
Yeah.
But like we know her, so like
yeah, and so she's trying to like she plays into the perception of her being a woman in high power,
and like I've been like thinking about like maybe like starting a family, but like I'm too old at this point.
Yeah, she's really leaning into I think that like what probably
and, like,
a lot
kind
of people
like a little bit of flirting, a little bit.
Yeah, and I think she's playing into this idea. I think of probably what all the men who would look at a person like that and think that's what she's thinking. Like, I imagine
it's like,
being a woman in that high ranking of a position of power probably means that you have to fight through like a shit ton of sexism. So she knows how to play into what the perception of her is rather than who she actually is.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Right, it's like that the sexism of just like there's something weird about a woman who like just wants a career and not like a family and doesn't want to just like I don't know like shove people out of their vagina.
Yeah, and I think there's like a really I think it's so easy to have like a message in media where it's like women are mothers and that's good, and then there's like or like women don't have to be mothers and that's good, and sometimes it's done in a way that feels very ham-fisted either way. And it gets annoying. I think there's a very like wide spectrum of that here where it doesn't feel like, oh, we're saying one, both, or, you know, either or. Because I mean, contrast someone like Armstrong, who is like using this to kind of like get what she wants, with characters like Izumi Curtis, who actually gets mentioned early in this episode.
Yeah,
because I think
she kind of did a similar thing with the Fuhrer when she was like in bed saying like, oh, like I can't really be a fighter, I'm just a poor sick housewife.
Yeah, but even then I think she genuinely like Izumi I think genuinely like wants to be a housewife, like does not see that being that as any less than. I think she does use that to her advantage, but like she also brings up a lot. She's like, I'm a housewife, because of her kind of removal, her experiences with alchemy and her removal from it as well. But also the stuff that they do bring up, I think Armstrong has a thing like, yeah, like a really long time ago there was like some random person who was coming in and like stealing our supplies. We don't know who that was, and they're like, and the way that was described, the Elrics are like, oh my god, that was teacher. That was. She's ours. It was really funny. But
I do kind of find it interesting because it kind of feels like there's a point where she just like it feels like alchemy for her, which is kind of like something she was interested in, but like didn't like kind of just like want to have a simple life.
Yeah.
That kind of felt like maybe like live in a small town, maybe like teach alchemy.
Yeah.
To some people, but not like but like I think like she always wanted a simple life, but she was also somebody who just like found alchemy to be super interesting.
Yeah, like I mean, alchemy is a science, so like most people who are doing alchemy are scientists. So it seems like someone who has just a genuine interest in STEM, but isn't looking to use it for like, you know, inhumane research or like the military. She's mostly just like someone who studies it and knows it, but then like later is obviously very traumatized by it because of, you know, the human transmutation aspect. In which she attempts, but like it's such like it's so interesting. But even then, like Izumi isn't punished for wanting to be simple. Obviously, she goes through bad things that like traumatize.
But everybody also goes through bad things. In the show.
Yeah. But it's like she's not rewarded or necessarily punished because of the things that she desires in life. Even though obviously like. She did
like
have a baby that died.
The thing, like the reason. Well, yes, but that's just something that happened.
Yeah,
that's not like a punishment.
Exactly.
And like she wasn't like punished with like losing parts of organs because of like wanting to have a child and like having that child die. She didn't. Yeah. She was punished because of the transmutation stuff.
Yeah.
So
and so like it's just the show is just insanely good with just how like.
How do you feel about the show?
Women.
How do you feel about the show?
I love the show. I'm not sure if I've told you this before, but I love the show.
But you like, but Jeremy was like definitely falling for it. It's kind of just like,
because
she's like, maybe I just find like a nice like strong man to get married to and like start a family.
Yeah, well, because what Armstrong is saying, like she has a weak spot for the boys because they're children, and she's like, you know, like one day it would have been nice to have had children, but I'm afraid that time is over for me. I feel like it's over. Like, you know, what if, you know, and she starts talking about specifically like youth and bodies, because she's like, you know, I feel like my body is getting to the point where like I can't have the things that I want, but you know, you had this thing that came in earlier, and that was just like this perfect specimen, and you know that seemed like impenetrable.
Hard. Yeah. Actually, but he probably couldn't really hard because he would immediately fall asleep.
Yeah. He would definitely fall asleep on top of somebody. Anyway, we're not gonna talk about that. But so she's kind of appealing to this idea of like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have like a body that can last forever, or like, you know, having dreams that are dependent on having, you know, a specific type of body. And Major General Raven is like
hey,
you're
lady.
not gonna believe this.
Hey, want some juice?
Hey.
What if I told you that very soon it wouldn't be a dream anymore?
You got fuck?
No. Oh.
Hello?
Get your hand off her.
Tell me, General.
She could smack him.
Would you be interested in a legion of immortal soldiers?
He took the bait.
Yay! Yeah, he took the bait.
Would you be interested in a legion of immortal soldiers though? So Raven takes the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and that is where we end the episode. Dara, what'd you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
We're getting a lot of info, and I was like, I think halftime was kind of like, I know, because there was some stuff where, I think we actually totally forgot about this, the stuff with, Man Chang and, Marco.
Oh, yes.
Where they're, like, talking about, like, because he's, like, reading the notes, and it's, like, I think it's, like, they're trying to, like, explain, like, what the actual, kind of, like, what the goal was. So they were, like, explaining, they said, like, the whole thing with the transmutation circle, and, like, I think this is what they're doing. They did like the big thing is like, okay, we know all this stuff now. We just need the motivation. Like, why? Yeah,
because right, yep. Because Marco even says he's like I asked Envy if you're trying to make a Philosopher's Stone. Envy's like close but no cigar. And so he's like, we do not know why they're doing this. This is the major part that we're missing. Is we know what they're doing. We do not know like what the end goal is. Yeah. We have an idea of what it could be. And he also kind of reveals that when he met with the Elrics originally and he gave them notes about where to find his notes and he's like, find the truth within the truth, he reveals that like one of the things he did, he actually wanted them to find out about the homunculi. It wasn't, the truth within the truth wasn't just understanding that Philosopher's Stones are made with human lives.
Yeah.
It was also understanding that who the homunculi were and that they were plotting something. So Marco had really hoped that they would figure this out the entire time. Of course, he was not able to share for many reasons. Marco knew he was under watch, and so so it's really interesting to see kind of that kind of come to fruition. See, like a lot of characters have kind of been ahead of things.
We also kind of get, and like he kind of reveals to Mei Chang, like here's like create a Philosopher's Stone, and like I think she's a little bit traumatized.
Yeah, and he's like, you use like living humans to make a Philosopher's Stone. He's like, I know you want the secrets of immortality. He's like, but you can't pursue it this way. He's not saying that it's impossible to. He's saying that's like by moral and ethical standards, you should not go down this route.
Listen, I already went down this route.
Yeah, he's like,
it wasn't
you're
fun.
A nice girl. Don't do that.
Maybe just like have like a nice life.
Yeah. So yeah, no, thank you for bringing that up because I totally forgot about that part.
Because like now it's like at this point we're kind of like seeing that like we know we have like who, what, when, where. We just don't have why.
Yeah.
Right. We have all the other stuff, right?
We have most of the other stuff. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And so yeah, we're so close. We have so much, and yet there's so much that we haven't revealed yet. So I'm excited. Yay!
Want trivia?
Let's do some trivia. This episode is adapted from chapters 66 and 67 of the manga. What?
We're almost at 2 hours.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for us. So the transmutation circle that appears in the background of this episode is the array used to create the Philosopher's Stone. There is some, I've talked about this before, how there's some kind of interesting back and forth with when Japanese is anglicized. There's like a weird switch between like R's and L's because in Japan they're the same letter.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of said with a flip, like a L sound or like a ra. So Lior is sometimes
Rior
spelled Riol.
Okay.
So it's spelled Riol in the manga, the actual manga, because there's also a lot of like again romanized text in Fullmetal Alchemist, even though because it's a very Western setting. So a lot of things that we see are not edited. It's like they were in English the entire time, which is really nice for us. So on the map in the manga it's Riol, but in the show it's Lior. So yes. The scene involving Ed's recollection of Isaac McDougall is, of course, an anime-only occurrence because Isaac McDougall is not in the manga. In the English dub of the episode, Fallman defines the Riviere incident as occurring in 1588 when it actually occurred in 1558. So it was more like I think it's just the voice actor misspoke. Because it later on it's recalled again as 1558. So it'd be like that.
We have time to fix it.
Yeah. Probably because, I mean, editing, man. You know, sometimes it's really easy to miss a little thing during editing.
Sometimes your friend asks you to edit something into it at the very last minute before you export something you were fixing.
Sometimes the wiki writers throw shade on something, and I really appreciate it. This one says, for some reason, the dub also adds a bizarre voice effect over Monster Envy in the flashback, which is not actually present in the episode that originally happened.
I don't even remember that.
Much of Fallman's participation in the corresponding manga chapter is cut from this episode, including when he travels with the Briggs team for the first down into the tunnel, among other things. So yeah, a lot of things get a little kind of shaved off for time purposes. The pistol that Buccaneer uses to coerce Ed is very similar to Mauser C96. Wow, my brain did not process that. I did forget to mention that in order to get Ed to cooperate, they do point a gun at him. They do point the gun at the child. So like, yeah, forget what Armstrong says to try to get General Raven over. Like, they're willing to shoot a child.
Well, they even said that with like, she was like I can't torture a child,
and they're like, she could.
She could point a gun at them.
She will, and she probably has. By telling Buccaneer that Fallman is a close friend, it helps Fallman get his career back on track. Aww. From now on, from this episode on, Fallman is never seen on icicle duty again. Very nice. So they got his crew back on track. Anyway, so that's this episode. Dara, any other thoughts?
What should I get for dinner tonight?
Oh, yeah. Yep. God, this episode is so long. And this isn't even like when it gets crazy. I refuse to elaborate. I clicked on the right one.
It's funny because like, no, it's funny because I'm just like, maybe like we can like take like a small burger and like get like a little like eat a little bit. I can go to the bathroom, but then I'm also like, can we just like keep going?
I know. I mean, I will have to pee after this, just so everyone knows. All right, Dara, it is time for a comment corner.
And 20 minutes of trying to figure out what episode we're on. Oh, wait.
Dara did the homework and told me what episode that we were starting on, and everyone shout out Dara because she's always way more together than I am.
Barely.
I know it's enough.
As long as one of us is one day, we're good.
All right, we're going to read the episodes, I think from comments from episode 25 and 26 today. So for episode 25, Zom comments and says, I believe this is when we were in the belly of the beast, or in Gluttony's stomach, because we saw someone that looked like they were Father Cornello, and I think it was a skull, and then Zom says, guess you both forgot Lust gave Cornello a lobotomy before he was eaten. True.
Did he?
Yeah, he got stabbed right through the forehead, and we forgot about that.
Well, technically lobotomies are through the eye.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. But either way, actually, we'd have to go back. I'm gonna roll the footage.
Now you two, everyone has mocked me. I won't stand for.
Nice.
I'd say this concludes our business.
Alchemy?
Really, it's not a transmutation circle.
Just as things were beginning to look, Father won't be pleased. In any case, it's time we started thinking about our next move.
I say to whoever's editing this, which is gonna be Dara. Also says, but Dara, she also needs to see Freddy's Dead to enjoy how stupid a note the franchise almost.
No, she doesn't. That's a terrible movie.
Which movie is this?
It's Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's Dead is like the official end to the Nightmare on Elm Street series, and then they like technically continue it on. Yeah. But like the next one's New Nightmare, which is like a meta, like what am I thinking? Like in our universe movie.
Yeah.
And then Freddy vs. Jason, which like is just like, let's have like these two horror icons fight, and then the remake. So it's like technically that's the end. I don't Freddy's Dead is a really dumb movie.
Okay.
With like there's only like one like not fun. There's not many fun deaths. There's like that's the one with like the power glove death.
Mm-hmm.
But like the worst one is like this kid who's got like hearing problems, and like Freddy just like uses his like claw thing, and like on a chalkboard, and just goes like, and then it blows his head off. Horror is fun.
I want to go home. Just kidding.
But it like brings like it's also weird. There's like a ton of cameos in that movie. There's like Roseanne and Tom Arnold are in it.
Oh, was that back when weren't they married at one point?
Yeah, that was when they were married. Yeah. Like Alice Cooper's in it because they do like all it's like here's the backstory for this like horror monster, and I'm like I don't care that much. I don't like Freddy's Dead, but that's just me.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I like the next episode title. All right, we also have a comment from Nika Noor that says, I'm pretty sure Ling tested Ed just to piss him off, referring to when they find each other in Gluttony Stomach, just to make sure they're not envy, because I think he calls him short or something. And it says, he's been shown to be able to sense envy and gluttony before, and even does so again when envy is still in the shadows.
That's fair.
So, Ling, you devil you.
I miss him. Where is he?
Inside of Greed. So, and then we'll also read the comments from episode 26. And we have a comment from Matthew Motto that says, who's left quite a few comments, and we really appreciate it. So thank you for leaving your comments. I actually love the remix episode. It is a transmutation of the show. Oh, is that what this one is?
The flashback one?
Is this the flashback one? I think it is.
No,
because
Ed and Elle are in it, or maybe it is.
Oh, if only I could find our
No, because I remember the screenshot that I did of that. I don't think that's it.
No, it's not. That's not. Oh, this is the backstory on This is the backstory on Wrath. Yeah, this episode.
Yeah, because I remember the screenshot that I used was us laughing because Papa was like looking at all the people he loved, and I was just kind of like.
Oh, so I think this is more. This comment I think should have been directed to the next episode. But I'm still going to read it here, because I think it's for the next episode, but I'm just going to read it because I know I'm going to forget. So Matthew Mata says, I actually love the remix episode. It is a transmutation of the show. Comprehension, having seen the series, I understand the moving parts. Deconstruction, pieces scattered, breaking the narrative form. Reconstruction, the episode is put back together as a way to distill what we have learned and reinforce the known themes. That's a really cool...
Yeah.
I would spend more time thinking about that, but this episode is too long. So thank you so much for your comments. I think they're wonderful. Remember that if you leave comments here on the show or reviews, wherever you're kind of viewing us or listening to us from, we will read them on the show. Mostly, probably, we try our best to.
Mainly YouTube, because that's where we usually remember to read them from.
Yeah. It's predominantly our YouTube channel, which, speaking of which, if you're watching this on YouTube now, hey, how's it going? Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.
We're really close to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, we're so close. Literally, guys, just if I could have anything for Christmas,
I don't think we're gonna get
1,000 subscribers.
I don't think we're gonna get another like 80 by Christmas, but 2025 will be a good year.
2025 will be a good year. I got manifesting. So yes, you can follow us on YouTube. Also, you can listen to us on the go with our audio only podcasts, which are available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, which is usually where you're going to get your podcasts, so enjoy. You can also follow us on a variety of social media. We are available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, probably something else, but those are all the main ones. You can follow us on there, and they're all great and don't cause me any psychic damage. And we also have a Patreon where you can give us money, Dara. Let's share more about Patreon.
We've got monthly live streams, which is for basically anybody who supports us on Patreon. So like $1, like that's our... So we'll watch a movie, we might have a conversation. I think as of now, as of maybe this episode's release, we've already done our December live stream.
Probably.
Which will be for everybody.
Yes. And so if you missed it, that sucks. But you could go watch the replay.
Yeah, because that'll be for everybody. We usually do like live streams for everybody twice a year, but usually they are just on Patreon.
Yeah.
You get our spin-off show, First Reaction or Fan Reaction. We watch a show that we both have seen or neither of us have seen. Right now, watching Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yes.
We're a little behind, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
A lot. Holidays also.
Holidays.
2025. We're gonna get back on track with the shit.
Yeah.
And you also get this episode a week early.
Yeah, which is really cool. That's kind of a major benefit, especially if you're a huge Fullmetal Alchemist fan. Or whenever we get back to community, but it'll be the same for there as well. So you can enjoy it and then brag to your friends that you know what's going to happen and they don't. And you can share all your fun inside jokes that you got from all this funny and cool things that we said.
And then maybe 2025 we might have some more stuff. We're not sure yet, but
yeah, life is life. But we do have Patreon. There's definitely things that you can view on there. So we appreciate your support there. And also additional shout out to all our current Patreon subscribers because you make life just a little bit better.
You're so nice.
That's good. We appreciate you very much. So that is all the time we have for this episode. Please join us for next time. We're going to keep talking about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood with episodes 36, Family Portrait, in episode 37, The First Homunculus.
Pride.
Until next time, I can clothe you.
I'm Dara Whitman.
Peace.
Pride. Not the homunculus one, but like the eye thing. Whoa!
I don't think that's a tattoo. Damn, he's strong.
Nice.
We did it.
Okay, what next?
Wait, dump
Yeah,
just.
how are you planning to get this big guy through the gate exactly?